With a nod to my friend Lisa Goodman, the arts community tonight puts forward our own badass by the name of Marie Swajeski. Yes. Marie Swajeski had an impossible dream: to bring live theater to children and to provide young talent a forum where they could explore their own artistic vision. In her quest to follow that star, she started her children's theater in the attic, in the attic of a church in downtown Wilmington with less than 100 seats. At times, her quest was hopeless. You can only imagine how difficult it was to raise awareness and support and money for children's theater. Our patrons generally support or give money to the ballet or to opera or to the symphony, but rarely to children's theater. Nonetheless, she marched forward. She marched forward without question and without pause, bolstered by a loyal following who would remain by her side for over 40 years. With the help of her husband, John the Lion-Hearted. She turned the New Century Club, a very place that 70 years before had been the catalyst for women's suffrage in Delaware. She turned the New Century Club into her Delaware Children's Theater. And from its beginning, the theater house was a national success story. But locally it was our home, a home where children could step away from television and from electronics and discover that magical moment, that magical experience of song, of dance, and of live theater. It was a home where Mrs. S, as we called her, personally mentored and mothered and taught us and loved us, the thousands upon thousands of students, including our family, the Poppiti family, myself and my brother Jeffrey. We kids were from diverse backgrounds, and we gathered for one purpose, as Mrs. S used to say. We gathered to build a rainbow, to make a rainbow. And by that she meant that all of us, kids and adults, would lend our talents, big and small, and together we would make art. And when we made art, we made the world more loving, and we made the world more beautiful. And such is that badass Marie Swajeski, a beautiful, a loving artist who strove with every last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable star. I agree. And now a few words via the video.
I met Marie Swajeski years ago when my children were 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. They showed an interest in theater, and we had this building on the corner, the Delaware Children's Theater, and it seemed like a very smart thing to do, to let them do some of the summer camps and just dabble in the arts. But what I found was it wasn't just a dabble in the arts kind of camp. There was a very talented, incredible woman who was very professional, with a lot of integrity and a lot of discipline, but with an eye toward looking into the heart and the soul, and to see that little spark in a child that could then allow her to do wonders.
You know, getting up on stage is a scary thing. It can be freaky. I still feel it, you know, even now. But she made it a safe place to create and to try things. And while it was about performing and while it was about theater, it was also about community and getting to know people and kind of coming out of your shell. Looking back on it as an adult, I realized that it was actually a lot bigger than just getting up on stage and saying lines and singing songs.
There was not much in town except in school. And she started with classes. She was doing it in different buildings. Wherever she could get a room, she would do a show there. You have to be kind of born with this love of being on the stage.
I mean, I remember that I'd be sitting in school, and I feel like most kids are probably, tapping their toe and wanting to maybe get to the park or ride their bikes or go, play sports or something. But I was like, I can't wait to get to rehearsal. That was like, it was my playground, was coming to Delaware Children's Theater. It was like, that was where I felt that I fit in.
She was able to establish in small town Wilmington first-class New York City standards for children who didn't have to become actors and actresses, but they could be the very sophisticated audiences in the future that would support the arts.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Michelle and Johnny, and congratulations to the other amazing inductees. Unfortunately, our mother, Marie, could not be here due to health issues, but she thanks you for this wonderful award. She says she's incredibly touched by the outpouring of love and respect for her life and her work. Marie was a true pioneer in the field of children's theater. There was once nothing like it around when she started. So recognizing a need, Marie dreamed a dream.
Early on, before self-empowerment was even a buzzword, Marie was an advocate for children, helping them develop their self-esteem and creative gifts. Marie began touring schools all over Delaware with a troupe of actors that she called the Rainbow Players, and they would go everywhere teaching workshops and doing performances. And she learned something very simple but very profound, that children, despite their socioeconomic backgrounds, when brought together to do a play, became a new community. They learned to work in harmony, and their differences didn't matter. Marie discovered the power of the arts to transform and engage children, some of whom had never learned to express themselves. Now all her dream needed was a home.
Marie and our father John saved the historic New Century Club from demolition to house her theater group, and the Delaware Children's Theater was born. In the process, she saved one of the last public works of one of the first women architects, Minerva Parker Nichols.
Yes, she's a wonderful first woman architect. Marie's greatest pride is that DCT is now a place staffed by awesome volunteers, where kids, parents, grandparents can all work together to create family entertainment that provides inspiration and joy in a world where sometimes those things are sadly lacking. By recognizing Marie tonight, she says you are recognizing that a child's imagination, creative development, and individuality are so very worthy of this kind of acknowledgement.
Marie is deeply grateful for this honor, and she wants to thank the Office of Women's Advancement and Advocacy and the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame. Special thank you to Ciro for that wonderful intro. Thank you very much, and for your support.
And then finally, we want to thank our awesome volunteers, many of them who are right here tonight. They keep DCT thriving, and we have been wonderful for 47 wonderful seasons, bringing the magic of theater to Delaware. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Mom had one more message.
Oh, no.
Wait. Mom had actually one more message.
Oh, she wanted to say that Frozen opens November 16th and runs to the 15th. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.